C'est l'histoire d'un homme qui tombe d'un immeuble de 50 étages. Le mec, au fur et à mesure de sa chute, il se répète sans cesse pour se rassurer. Jusqu'ici, tout va bien. Jusqu'ici, tout va bien. Jusqu'ici, tout va bien. Mais l'important, c'est pas la chute. C'est l'atterrissage.
Imagine you wake up on a lazy summer morning. It's mid-July, it's nice and warm, birds chirping, you've been having a good time. You open up your Instagram and you see new story from Playboi Carti. Well, gotta check this out. Picture of his son or something. Black screen maybe. But no, you get this instead. Oh, my ears. What on earth is that? That is a new tour announcement. What? Last time he toured was in like 2021 type deal. And he didn't even come to Europe. I didn't even see him. Oh, wait, they got everybody. They got everybody on this. North America and Europe? Look at all these dates. Apparently they missed like Florida or something, but I don't live there. I live in France. Oh my God. Yo, this is crazy. It's everyone on the Opium label. For those who are perhaps unfamiliar with the Opium label, first off, why'd you click on this video? Like this, I'm gonna make it palatable, but still, like, good luck. The label is technically a sub-label of Interscope, and they started in 2019, founded by a New York Millie Rock rapper, Playboi Carti, and Opium J. They quickly went on to sign Ken Carson, then Destroy Lonely, then they also signed a group, Homixide Gang. Well, they're a duo. Some folks from the group are based from Atlanta, like Homixide Gang and Ken Carson, while I think Lone's from New York.
Correction. Lon is also from Atlanta.
But there's this wide, diverse cast of characters in the label. You got producers, you've got like Filthy, KP Beats. I don't know if Tim88 counts. You've got designers, like South Korean designer, art dealer. You've got Gabe, who makes music. You've got Burberry Era. You've got Black Hane. You've got a bunch of people in the collective, right? Because it's more of a collective than a label. I'll touch on it later, but their brand is so cohesive between the groups, it really creates their own atmosphere and ethos. It's very much a closed ecosystem that feeds off itself and has been self-sustaining for the past few years as members have been releasing projects and albums and collaborating with each other on whether it be visuals, music videos, music, photography, everything. With the news of the tour, I was honestly super stoked. I saw Ken Carson some months ago before the announcement in Paris, and it was like a crazy show. And so I went and got myself and a friend tickets.
You goof!
Now, some folks weren't as excited for the new tour as I was, apparently, because like, oh, no new music, you're gonna tour a whole lot of Red again. He toured it once. There are people who will tour the same album many times. Too many, maybe. I saw Mos Def do Black on Both Sides. That album's 20 years old. Like, let people tour. Damn, like, they don't need to release new music for you to experience it. And plus, again, they hadn't done a tour in Europe for the album. So yeah, there was a little bit of speculation behind it, like, oh, are we going to get new music? What's going to really happen with this thing? This would have been the second time he toured the same album after the King Vamp tour in 2021, excluding other festivals, of course. But outside of those festivals, he hadn't really performed to the project outside of the United States. So considering that, I didn't really find the complaints of performing the same music justified. I hadn't heard it live, and I'm sure there were plenty of people who hadn't either. And you've got all of these other people with him on the tour. You've got 3 other music acts with him. Like, even if he performed all the same songs, you're still gonna hear plenty of other music from plenty of other artists. Like, relax a bit. Again, that's not even like a majority opinion, but you look at the top Instagram comment for the post and it's like, oh, are we just touring a whole lot of Red again? And it's like, maybe, but like, I think that's fine. Now, in terms of the lineup and music, we had Destroy Lonely, who had released his album If Looks Could Kill back in May. Ken Carson was supposed to release his album A Great Chaos in July, but it's nowhere to be seen and it's been delayed. And Homixide Gang also had released a tape earlier in the year as well, about in April. But when it comes to the headliner, Playboi Carti, in late July, we got his feature on Travis Scott's Fiend off of the Utopia album. The song was quite a hit. I thought it was Michi on that song, but what can you do? We even had Playboi Carti, The Weeknd, and Madonna on a song. I mean, sure, it was for a TV show, and the song was like okay, but I don't know, it was pretty alright. But I didn't think he was gonna perform that. What could we expect of a set list? Well, we've got new Destroy Lonely and new Homixide Gang songs. A Great Chaos could come out before the tour starts in September. And Playboi Carti has also previewed 2 new songs in the meantime, the songs Pop Out and Rockstar, earlier in the year. Surely there'll be some new material too. The Opium sweatshop works very hard, I find, even if they're up to their knees, swamped in scrapped merch, scrapped music, scrapped design, scrapped everything. They just really like to take their time. Hey. So far so good, you know what I mean? Oh, we're about to get this going. Surely this won't happen again. Well, with little promo besides some Instagram stories and 3 posts on his burner account, the USA leg of the tour is postponed days before the first show in September. Literal days beforehand. We had some indication, some rumors came up in August, some screenshots of emails saying, oh, your shift has been postponed, and then people posted online, but no official confirmation until days before the tour starts. There's no Instagram post from Playboi Carti, there's no story, there's nothing from his manager, there's nothing. The way people got this info sourced was outside of Interscope AEG Presents. Of course, people would get emails saying their event was rescheduled and the tour website would update accordingly, but other than that, we got no information from the team. So, with no info as to why the USA leg of the tour had been postponed, we're left to think and theorize as to what happened. Now, of course, shows get canceled all the time for many reasons. Childbirth, food poisoning. Really, you gotta pick one. It's one of the 2. Some artists will even be honest and say that they just didn't sell enough tickets and they had to cancel it, and that's more of a label issue and a money problem. My guess is issues with Interscope and general incompetence. Reminder that the Opium label is under Interscope, or it's even a ploy to get at Interscope and just try to mess up their deal as much as possible so they can go independent. Independent is very big right now. One of the biggest artists of all time, and currently still, Kanye West, is in fact independent now, and he released an independent album with Ty Dolla $ign. It is, for the music industry, it is pretty significant, pretty important. Now, remember at the time there was a big conversation going on around, is hip hop dying? Oh, it's over for hip hop. Oh, rap is dead, rap is dead. Like, Nas already did the Hip Hop is Dead album a decade or 2 ago. Like, it's not that the genre is dying, but it's always in a constant state of evolution. Some degrowth should be expected as the biggest artists of the 2010s get less popular and relevant. The biggest artists of this moment still make rap music, or still use rap, or still use hip-hop beats. It's still super internationally influential. The genre is just got to a point where it was so big that it was at a peak that was very unsustainable. But I'd still say we're in a maturity phase for the genre. I do, however, see the point of the complaints against rap shows in particular, because if we're being real, if you have to punch in half your bars when you make the song, how are you supposed to keep up while you're performing? Many big rap artists don't have crazy choreography don't have crazy live show mixes, or sometimes they won't even cut the vocals out of the original song when they're playing it. The audio quality isn't ever that great. Nothing's mixed right for the venue. Some people are just like, I don't like rap shows because the music just doesn't sound right. I'd rather just listen to the studio version in my house.
See, that's the other thing I think happens. You get these names who headline festivals, and you kind of get a little, okay, we had X amount of thousands here at this festival, and you think I could sell that on your tour. That's not all yours.
True.
There's a lot of names on that festival that they here to see. It ain't necessarily you're the headliner, but everybody there is not there for you, and it can gas you. You know, you think you can sell out a bigger arena than you really can, or a bigger venue.
As a result, you don't really end up with a desirable live show experience. However,
he makes a lot of noises.
But he does it when you're not looking at him.
Yeah.
Opium à la base c'est un label, hein, c'est pas un style.
However, when it comes to the Opium Collective, you've got different mixes for the live shows. You've got choreography as in Airy and Black Hane just doing whatever this is. And the listeners have developed a community and identity around the music, whether or not it's them who like being all avant-garde and weird, and then they find the music, or if it's the music that influences them, or a bit of both. I think it could be both. When it comes to the shows, the artist performing is really only half the act, if you really think about it. Most of the enjoyment comes from people you run into at and party with at the shows. When I went to see Ken Carson in Paris last year, when you're on the floor, you're pushing, you're being pushed, moving around constantly, hyping each other up, the sort of raging phenomenon that happens at these shows, I liken it to like when lion cubs are like play fighting and they're like sparring with each other, but we're not built like lion cubs and we can actually hurt each other, so we do need to be at least a little bit careful. I mean, I'm not trying to lose any teeth at the show, but it's never really that bad. It's just a bunch of pushing and stuff and like jumping around. It's not like a crazy mosh pit. It just takes a lot of cardio energy. Focus on breathing. I can't jump around and sing the lyrics at the same time. I've got to pick or choose, so I usually interchange between. But otherwise, it's an amazing experience. At least for me personally. I know it's not for everybody, but that's what like sitting up in the seats are for. Ken Carson doesn't have to be a great vocalist. He doesn't have to be a great dancer. He doesn't even really need to do much. You could put anybody in his place and they could do just as good a job, if not better, technically speaking. All he really needs to do is orchestrate. But you know what that is? That's being an MC, a master of ceremonies. If we're thinking about it, that is really the essence of hip hop. Because a whack MC can't get the crowd moving, can't open up pits, can't coordinate people to make them jump around and whatnot. But a good one can. These Opium guys can. So they're doing their job right. So shout out to hip hop. It's still alive, clearly. But I guess the main point is that the lower sales could have been a result of no new music and expensive ticket prices. That's what I'd assume. So it's a lack of hype, because no new music from Playboi Carti, because people are greedy and impatient, and expensive ticket prices. Not so much in the lack of quality of the shows themselves. They put their all into the shows. Even if it's not a typical hip hop show, it's still a crazy experience nonetheless. Now, when it comes to here in Europe, I found that the ticket prices were relatively normal. Again, not like, no, they're not a steal, obviously, You know, back in the day, you could see the biggest acts for like, what, 20 bucks. Now it's like you see some mid rapper and it costs you $100 a ticket to be on the floor. But that's just the way it is. I saw K-pop tickets go for more than this show, but this is in Europe. In America, apparently they were a lot more expensive. They were really just extorting their fans. I don't know why. That's a lot. They spent all their money on Balenciaga and Rick Owens, and you're going to make them pay another fee? Like, they already got the dress code. I say if they got the Ramones or the Raver pants on, let them in. Expensive tickets in this economy? Something inflation, cost of living crisis. Maybe people couldn't afford to go to the shows. I haven't lived in the US for a while, years. So I don't know what it's like over there, but hey, maybe people were bad at the time. Anyways, hey, we still have Europe left. The tickets are basically sold out over here, aside from some nosebleeds that I don't think they should even be selling anyways, because who's supposed to be up there, bro? That's like way too high up. That's way too high up. Can you even hear the music from there? I don't know. But hey, that means we've got a few months, plenty of time to release new music. And new music there was. In September, we get an Atlanta club event with all the Opium members. Everybody who's supposed to be on the tour, they're there that day. It's a celebration for Carti's birthday. He's like 100 years old or something. Nah, he's either 27 or 28. Celebrities lie about their age all the time. I'm not too sure why. We hear the new Ken Carson songs from A Great Chaos, even though the album isn't out yet, some previews, and we also get a Playboi Carti song with Lil Uzi Vert and Travis Scott. Again, these haven't released, these are unnamed previews, but we see they clearly want to show out some new music. And again, everybody's there, but you know, it's not a concert, it's just a club event that was very spontaneous, I might add. And exactly 1 month later, we get the release party for A Great Chaos. A Great Chaos is received super well. The event was hosted by Spotify, and Playboi Carti and Destroy Lonely make an appearance, as well as Filthy. They're all there, they're having a good time. Playboi Carti performs some of the songs he really just walks around and just sort of looks at people. But they do Fiend, and you know, you can see, okay, they're feeling the vibe, they're going out in public, being less mysterious. It is still mysterious because they weren't supposed to be there, or it wasn't announced they were supposed to be there, but they're showing up anyways. It's like a little warm-up, a little practice. But wait, there's a tour, right? I've been getting ads on my Instagram by AEG, like, oh, Playboi Carti en Paris, but otherwise no mentions of the Antagonist tour from Playboi Carti or anyone else on the team. The organizers, AEG, yes, they continue to advertise it. There's some billboards up, there's some ads on your feed, but otherwise, there doesn't seem to be much in terms of preparation for it. We haven't even seen any tour merch being previewed. No tour merch? Hey, save the trees. So now we're on pace to have A Great Chaos, If Looks Could Kill, Playboi Carti's features, all of the other songs everybody else has released ever, plus some unheard music for the tour. It seems like we're pretty stacked here. And the thing that made us all think, oh, yeah, this is really happening. Something happened with the US, but Europe is probably going to happen, is the photo shoot Playboi Carti did for Re-Edition magazine. Re-Edition is a quarterly fashion magazine based in Belgium. The 20th issue of the magazine would drop mid-November, quite literally days before the first show in Ireland. In the article, they mention how Playboi Carti was ready to kick off his arena tour with all of his band members. It seems like, oh, this is official, this is happening. Again, the magazine released just days before the first date was supposed to start in Ireland. And secondly, Filthy, one of the producers for the collective, who's a frequent collaborator, who's going to be with them on the tour, announced some club appearance dates throughout some places in Europe, including one in Paris that I probably would have gone to if it was real, if it was actually gonna happen. Now, before we descend into tragedy, I'd like to talk a little bit about the aesthetics of the tour and this antagonist era that we almost had. Starting off, let's talk about the initial promotion, the posters and the videos. It's pretty clear that in the making of this, the team were having a great time in Paris, and they were like, oh wait, we actually have to submit something though. So let's make a bunch of noise tracks and lit around Paris for a little bit, and let's see how it goes. And you know what? Hey, it was pretty cool. You know, so you do running on the balcony. There's a stand. You can tell it's Paris because of the architecture and stuff. If it's not like if you know, but if you've seen it once, you can basically almost always tell. At least, you know, at least it's Europe, I'm pretty sure. People even found out that the cave studio that they were in was in fact in Paris. So that basically confirms the whole French essence of this thing, including the poster. The poster is a reference to the classic 90s French film by Mathieu Kassovitz, La Haine. La haine means hate in
French.
Quick synopsis. The movie follows the lives of three young guys in the banlieue of Paris, which is basically the projects or the suburb of the city. And it follows their lives the day after a riot hits their neighborhood involving a police incident that happened the day before. It's a crazy good movie. Like, don't watch the Bob Marley movie. This is gonna be super late and super irrelevant, but don't watch the Bob Marley movie. Watch this instead. I don't even watch a lot of movies, but it's like top 5, top 3 movies ever for me. It's just like super, it's just amazing. But it really does has no link with Opium or Playboi Carti or Ken Carson or anything. It's just cool design inspo, and honestly, it's like, hey, good reference. I caught that one type deal, you feel me? Now, I think the visuals were at their peak in the re-edition magazine photo shoots because we've got these dingy environments, a touch of liminality, liminal space, back rooms, you know. It's sort of trendy, but like I feel like this is going to be a staple that's just going to be part of pop culture now because so many people could relate to it, and it was just so present, and I think it's just gonna stay that way. We've got big flags that drape the space that are all distorted. We've got stretched watermarks of the antagonist and Opium logos, as well as other bits of, I want to say, digital art and digital manipulation. We see Playboi Carti styled in all white and all black outfits of a Balenciaga, and we've got this angel wing bulletproof vest that sort of reminiscent of an Iko Ishioka costume, especially from Dracula, that red muscle suit. It's giving off that same sort of energy. I'm trying to avoid the word vibe. The graphics themselves throughout the promo might be best described as cyber sigilism, which is sort of a hybrid between technology and a futuristic mysticism, I'd say, which results in sort of tribal design, sort of reminiscent of tribal tattoos, but everything's like jagged, but at the same time a sort of organic feeling. It's like if machines were alive. As I researched into this, I just absolutely fell in love with this sort of design. The designs can have symbolic meaning, but they can also be totally abstract depending on the process. I saw somebody creating one of these designs with what seemed to be like gallium, and they were just moving the liquid around on the surface to sort of get to map out the shape. So it doesn't have to have any specific meaning, but it can, you know. This is mainly the work of Sex is Death. She does a lot of design work and tattoo work, and honestly, like, forget about Carti, like, that's the real goat of this whole thing. The people who actually worked on the project, but that's gonna come soon. This features a lot of anamorphosis, which is basically projections that are distorted on the 2D or 3D plane. You get that from the flags, you get that from the stretched text. Everything's sort of meant to seem a bit out of place and bizarre, and I think it suits it really well. This technique has actually been done since the invention of art, if you think about it, because they had to use it on the rocks of caves to create a normal image in the deformity in the crevices of the stone. So people have been using it that way to make stuff look right, but it's been used in the inverse since the 1500s. If you think of that famous painting, The Ambassadors, we have the skull. The skull is supposed to be a memento mori, a reminder of death. The French education taught me that. Shout out, it's very good. And you have the distorted skull. You can't really tell what it is. If you didn't know it was a skull on the painting, you probably couldn't tell. But when you stretch it to the right perspective, it's just a normal looking skull. I have no idea how they did that. That's like super impressive. Like, oh, I can do that with the computer super easily. But painting that? Humans are on a whole other level, man. I don't even know what to say. And yeah, after researching this, I've got to say, I love this style and I'd love to explore it more at some point. And with that said, I'd like to take a moment to commemorate the people who actually put in the work on these sorts of projects, that style up these artists, that make the visuals, shoot photos, shoot videos. I've got some of their names up on the screen here. You've got, Sex is Death, who's responsible for a lot of the art, styling, visuals. I've never envisioned myself having a tattoo, but if I did, it'd probably look something like her work. It's very impressive. You've got Indiana 420, who does very uncanny portraiture. You've got makeup artists, hairstylists to thank to. And, these are the people who you should be paying attention to just as much, if not more, than these rappers, these scammer rappers. Dang, I've got my train ticket, I've got my bags packed. I can't wait to see Playboi Carti, Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, and Homixide Gang tomorrow on the Opium tour. This will be the best show ever, right? Now, when this happened, something inside the community just snapped.
Then something just snapped! Something inside of me! No! No more! That's it! I don't care! I didn't care anymore! I didn't care about being better than Kakarot! I didn't care about being a Super Saiyan! I didn't care if I lived! I didn't care about anything! And then, it happened!
People were having none of it. They had spent money on hotels, flights, canceled appointments, took days off work and school just to have it postponed days before it started. It happened again. It was just like the US, nothing changed. People were scrambling to figure out what to do next. I was in contact with people who were like, yeah, I'm flying out to France for the show and now I don't know what to do. Can you help me find something else to do while I'm in town? And I try to help them, but at the same time, that was supposed to be the main reason we were all going to these locations, was for the show. Sure, if somebody lives in the city, it's not that big of an L, but people were taking flights and taking hotels and going through all the measures you'd normally do for a concert, and to have it canceled days before is incredibly unprofessional. It's horrible. It's a disaster. Carti made a post on his Finsta. Oh, Antagonist is forever. We'll see about that. But, it's like, thanks for scamming me on the EU tour. I hate Carti. And, hey, justified. But AEG, his management, people spammed his management. His manager, she blocked comments. AEG has nothing to say at all. This is the most radio silence I've ever seen involving any sort of music event ever. It's not like they're gonna get away with people's money. People are gonna get their refunds. People in Europe got their refunds. Well, were eligible to get their refunds because this is not cancellation. This is postponing. Different. But people were immediately eligible in Europe to get their refunds. A lot of people did. I'm probably gonna get mine at some point, since spoilers. Filthy's club dates were postponed or replaced with some other people. I don't even know what happened to those. Why would you announce something that's not even gonna happen? There was no promo for the tour, but everything was sold out. There had no reason not to show up. It's very strange. Hell, even my friend and I lost out on train tickets into Paris. Now, collectively, we're down $40. The lack of communication on the part of everyone involved was honestly astounding. For an artist of this size, for an organization as big as AEG, what is going on? But Europe didn't get any new dates, yet to receive any indication about it being rescheduled. The soonest concert date now is the rescheduled US leg of January 14th, 2024.
Music.
In December, the slogan, "I am music," would drop, and with this came new Playboi Carti songs. We got You're the Moon, 2024, Hood by Air, and Backrooms in early January. All of this within the span of less than a month. Every song dropped either on Instagram or on YouTube, and they still have not appeared on streaming services. Again, I feel like this is part of the conspiracy where Carti's trying to get at his label, but I have absolutely no substantive argument to justify that at all. So wait, we got new tracks. So the assessment to make now is that, okay, he's gonna kick off the rescheduled US tour with this new batch of songs, even an album. We still got like 2 weeks before he can try to do it. You know, he's got some leverage. You already dropped 4 songs. You only need like 5 more. 10-track album is cool. 9-track album is cool. It doesn't need to be as stacked. You know, streaming is cool, but just drop what you'd like to. And don't forget, we still have had no live shows for A Great Chaos or If Looks Could Kill. Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely are being impacted by these cancellations and postponing of events because now they can't tour their own music, which has released months and months ago now. The touring is how a lot of artists make their money. I'm sure they're fine financially, but still, this is messing it up for everybody. So with the advent of this, you'd think there's plenty of music to go around. So far, so good. Well, it's Jover. January 9th. All tour dates would go to be determined. If you scroll down on the tour website, they were all TBD, TBD, TBD. Europe to USA. No announcement from the team. Nothing from AEG again. Nothing from management. Carti had posted about everything. Everybody on the team had posted about anything but the tour. It's like people had completely forgotten about it. Not a lick, not an ounce of promo. Everybody could have gotten food poisoning on some lucky vibes, and it would be understandable. But the no communication is just a no-go. What are you doing? What's wrong with you? There didn't seem to be any reason to cancel these shows. Everybody on the lineup had been to these cities already. Everybody had performed in Europe at least once. I know there's been Lone, Ken, and Homixide in Paris. Everybody's allowed in. It's not like they're barred from entry. Even Homixide Gang beefing with Summers probably shouldn't have stopped the tour. Or Carti's speeding ticket, or him beating women. The day after what would have been the first rescheduled US tour date, we get the video for Evil Jordan, the first song that he previewed in this I Am Music rollout. The song's good, you know. Twirling around with the Mercedes cap on his back. Great stuff. But what is going on? That's it? So now we must sit back and ask ourselves, No A Great Chaos tour. No If Looks Could Kill tour. Playboi Carti is now hanging out with Ye and Ty Dolla $ign, doing shows at venues he was supposed to perform at. Keep in mind, he's just standing around, accompanying them, but yo, what's your deal? You scared of your fans or something? Are you scared of doing your job? You know, Carnival is out. Great song. Carti carried it. You know, great effort, but what's going on? The deadbeat woman beater drops the ball and everybody loses. Ken can't tour. Lone can't tour. Nobody can do anything because you had all of this planned out, scheduled, calendars filled, and now it all amounts to nothing. It's all a bunch of sitting around and wasting time and money. I bet they lost money on this. It's not like they could have gained anything. Everybody's going to get their refund. And now Ken Carson's on tour with the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Ice Cube? Really? This sequence of events has not only messed up Carti's rollout, but that of every Opium member. Everybody's time got wasted. But was it really wasted? Because they seemed to all be in on it. That's the thing. Nobody posted about Antagonist aside from the day it was announced. Everybody went quiet, aside from that magazine entry, which could have been done weeks ahead of time. Nobody mentioned anything. It seems like everybody was in on it. They probably were all in on it, even if they clearly don't benefit from it. Maybe there's some bigger picture Illuminati issue that we're just not seeing here. Destroy Lonely has started the rollout for his new project. Ken Carson's More Chaos is on the way. Is the Antagonist era over? The Opium team scraps stuff and never touches it again. The cycle continues. They drop to Narcissist. They don't get anything done. Or they're getting a lot of stuff done, but they keep on canceling it. It's insane. As of March 23rd, every tour date has been officially canceled. I didn't even think this would happen. I thought it would just get super delayed, but I guess super delays aren't even possible anymore. I had a whole section in this about how to refund your tickets because postponing doesn't mean cancellation. So sometimes they'll be like, oh, but there'll be a new date, wait for a new date. But with it officially canceled and everything on Ticketmaster saying this event has been canceled, you should get your refund automatically. You shouldn't even have to input anything. However, if you got tickets, let's say at a physical retailer or a booth or something, or God forbid, you got resold tickets on like Craigslist or something, I can't help you much there. But otherwise, you go to the organizer, you see what venue you had booked it for, you see what kind of proceedings they recommend you to take, and then you'll be able to figure it out. I'm sure it'll be easy. And so I guess safe to say this does conclude the Antagonist era of the collective. It's not only of Playboi Carti, but you know, it's of the whole group. He might be second to Ye in terms of announcing, then canceling projects. And again, the cutting room floor isn't even at like knee level anymore. It's going up into their waist, and they're gonna drown in their own canceled projects at this rate if this happens like 1 or 2 more times. If More Chaos gets delayed or doesn't come out, or if Lone's project's bad, it's not gonna be over because I think they've got too many aura points to waste. I mean, fine, take time with your art. That's how it should be. Rushing it and getting pressured by people to rush your projects and art, like, they're just missing the point. It takes time to curate. However, this means when you announce something as big as a tour with all of your crew and people fly out, make sacrifices, spend money, take time off, you have to uphold your end of the deal. And if something bad happens or you're not able to fulfill it, you have to express to your clients and your fans what happened. If it's really that bad that you can't disclose it, why did you start this anyway? You can't just cancel it and pull the rug out from under them, and yourself too, just days before at an instant. It's just sad, man. Yo, thanks for watching the first video. I kind of wish it didn't have to be about something as like as much of a travesty as this, but you know, that's just how it is. Post your L's in the comments. If you got scammed, how much did you get set back? Did you miss a doctor's appointment? Are your teeth not cleaned because you couldn't see the dentist on the day of the tour and now you're here with plaque in your teeth? Did you get scammed out of $1,000? I got scammed out of 40. Whoever took the biggest L gets one Leo point. So leave your biggest L in the comments. No returns or exchanges on the points, by the way. Sorry about that. Can't get caught up in these Playboi Carti situations. Have a good one now, y'all. Peace.